AMG episode number 80. We're back for this episode here. Collecting the scallops, collecting the people. Steve, and he's got his voice back.
Somewhat. I still have the old cough drops going, but if my voice squeaks at some point, at least you'll know I'm on the mend.
Excellent, excellent. And Blair, how are you?
Fantastic.
I like how you hesitated. It's like it was a trick question. Were you waiting for the math portion of it? Like
he was looking for approval.
I was just going over it in my head. Then, of course, Steve talked about his voice not being back, so I was like, "Am I fantastic?" Or
you're just second guessing it all. It's just I'm not sure where we're at this point. Okay.
I told him to get on to your advice. I told him to get on to Fisherman's Friends, but he's sticking to his lozenge choice.
I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of the Halls too. But sometimes if your throat is giving you a little bit of trouble, Fisherman's Friend is pretty solid. Listen, You guys are in the Maritimes. Fisherman's Friend.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I don't like stereotypes, so that's why.
Okay, listen. You do what you're gonna do. You do what you're gonna do. Fight it as long as you want, Steve. In the end, you're gonna find out.
Yeah.
It's like not sponsored, but maybe it should be. Fisherman's Friend, hit us up. Let us know. We'll make this happen.
Sponsor, sure.
Yep. All right, so a couple of things we're going to talk about. Listen, if we could get the scallop things, it would be done. Steve would be like, "Oh my God, we've made it! This is it! This is it! The ship has come in." All right, so we're going to go over a couple of different things, but for the most part, the focus is going to be on Metal Universe Hockey. We've got a couple of cards that came in the store. We got a little collector's corner with Blair, so we'll get to that in a moment. I'll go over a couple of the things, including some of the comments from last week's episode. Again, as always, you're more than welcome to throw in comments. If it's not a time-sensitive thing, but if you've got a comment or question, feel free. We'll address it in the following episode. If it is more time sensitive or you really need a specific answer to something, like if you want to know about availability or pricing on something, reach out to the store directly. I'm going to put the scrolling ticker on the bottom there with the Instagram and the website. Website is a connection point in the description. We also put in all the different connection points. Use them. You can contact the store directly. And if you want to know what the pricing is on some of this stuff, we can't reveal it through the podcast episode. But if you want to reach out to the store, you can find out how much is available and the pricing on it so that if you want to come into the store and grab it for yourself, it's straightforward to do. Yeah. Okay. Quick thing I want to mention as well. Just a reminder. So we're a couple of weeks out from that, but I'll give you the reminder now. Always towards the end of the month, you got a trade night and card show. They're back to back. So on May 30th is going to be the trade night, and then the card show is May 31st. So right at the end of the month. Bet last day of May, that's when the next one's going to be. So just bear it in mind. Same location. It's going to be at the mall where the store is located. And of course, the trade night is in the store where it's located. So it's all there. It's going to be 9 to 3 on the 31st for the card show. And then the trade night will also be later on in the afternoon. We'll also mention in the next couple of weeks just to give you reminders as we get closer. But we're a couple of weeks out, so we'll start giving you the reminder now. Okay. So we've got that covered. A couple of items that came in. So I'll do these and then we'll get into the comments. So straightforward, very streamlined set of items, but some of the Pokemon stuff, if you are interested. So I'll read off this list here. 2025 Panini Donruss Basketball Hobby Blasters. So blaster boxes on that. Pokemon 2025 Tin Slashing Legends. Can't help you there. No idea. Pokemon Blooming Waters Premium Collection. Pokemon Prismatic Evolution Super Premium Collection. Pokemon 2024 World Championship Deck Display Box. So these are kind of the list of Pokemon items on there. Ask Blair.
I think I'll take Friday off so Blair can deal with this.
Well, it is the next. Yeah, it's the next Prismatic. I know we had Journey together after that, but yeah, it's the big premium collection box. So kind of like the 151, they did the big premium collection boxes. So be that. I'm sure there'll be some interest. So we decent allotment, but we're gonna do our same. You know, we're not gonna have a Costco experience. So we're same thing. We're gonna limit it. Check closer what our price will be, and we're not can't do it early. So release on Friday morning. And if you wanna. Don't think you can make it in, call the shop, and we can try to hold one over the phone with a payment.
On Friday, though.
On Friday, yes. That's what we've been doing, yeah. So, because we cannot release it till Friday. So, that's my little speech on that.
Well, part of me would kind of enjoy seeing a Costco event happen here, but...
a brawl for all?
Yeah, the bosses probably wouldn't appreciate it, but no, again, Pokemon is just on fire. And as Blair touched on, we're just going to do the usual, limit them so we can make sure as many people as possible are able to get this product.
Exciting stuff. Listen, the only thing I wanted to know is if the cheese stringamon was in the checklist. Outside of that, I can't help you. The important questions are being asked, but we'll see. We'll go forward. The last item on here is the Metal Universe Hockey, which is what we'll talk about in a couple of minutes here. As usual, when we talk about one of those, I'll also leave a link in the description to the Beckett checklist and details, so you can check that out. Obviously, there's a couple different spots now where you can start seeing some of the images, but we'll include some of that information there for you. We'll get to that in a minute. Before we do, though, I'll go over a couple of the comments from last week's episode. So Robin Taylor here said, sorry to hear Steve caught what was going around. Took me over a week to get through it. So wishing you some well wishes from last week's episode. Gotham also responded as always. Great video as always. Ultimate is my fave set. I would rather a beauty hard signed out of 99 Ultimate Rookies auto rookie over a Future Watch 999 auto any day. Go Sens Go 25-26. Added the date in there. Appreciate that we included the year in there. So thank you for that. And then last one here, Dad Boom says, I can't say enough great things about AMG and its staff. Love that they include the tax in the display price. My favorite store by far. I live in Bridgewater, Nova Scotia, and never ever visit the HRM area without stopping by AMG. Friendly, helpful staff every time. I recently bought a pack of 24-25 SPX. I never buy hobby boxes as they're out of my price range, and got them to pick me out a pack. Pulled a great Bullduke numbered rookie card. Cool. So thank you, Dad.
Thanks for the positive comments. A lot of negativity out there, but which we accept. But it's always nice to have some positive comments as well.
Indeed. So thank you to Dad Boom. Thank you to everybody else for the comments. As always, like I said, you're more than welcome to throw it in there. And generally speaking, we'll follow up with it the following episode. So thank you for your participation in that. And also hit the like button for the engagement, because it helps these episodes get out, especially when we kind of working on it. We want to try to give people kind of what they want. If there's something you'd like to see from it, we're also open to suggestions. We've got kind of a format that works for us here, but at the same time, we can certainly look into adding some things if there's some stuff that makes sense for it. And as we get into the summer, we're going to have some opportunities maybe to think about some things that we could kind of incorporate in there to make it interesting for you. It'll be interesting to see, though. From looking at the calendar ahead of time, Upper Deck may still have some products for us going into the summer. So we're going to see if they throw some interesting wrinkles in there or some wrenches into the whole thing. So thank you again for all the comments. And again, you're more than welcome to reach out if you have that, or if it's more urgent, you reach out directly to the store. Okay. So let me show, we're going to actually finish off with Metal Universe. So I'm going to show a couple of the cards that Steve shared earlier, and we'll get into a little collector's corner with Blair, and then we'll finish off with Metal Universe. And that's how we'll call it an episode. So let me start off with this here. Okay. So right here, we're going to start off with a couple of 2019 O-Pee-Chee Platinum cards. So we got both Hughes brothers. We got Jack Hughes and Quinn Hughes, retro blue rainbows, both PSA 10s.
Yeah, and the platinum cards are they're among my favorite cards. Just yes, they're shiny, but the shine is awesome. Whatever they do to them, they really pop. And of course, they look great in the PSA holders.
There you go. All right. So again, 2019 O-Pee-Chee Platinum, and this is two Jack Hugheses here. And we got the red prism and the violet pixels, both in a PSA 10. Now, important note, kind of Steve already alluded to it with O-Pee-Chee Platinum. One important thing, we obviously are not seeing the back of these, and we've talked about this before. One thing that is O-Pee-Chee Platinum, I think, kind of started off with Upper Deck, and they've borrowed it and used it in some of the other products now, which is good. I'm actually in favor of it. For the various parallels, on the back of the card, they actually label the parallel, which is extremely helpful, especially when you've got a product like this that has a lot of parallels. It is super handy to already have the information on the back of the card. You can flip it to the back, and they'll tell you. So if it says red prism there, on the back of the card, it's going to say red prism, which is super handy.
Yeah, so much. So I was actually doing a PSA submission on some newer cards, and wow, like some of them would have like 28 variations of a card, and your mind's about to explode. So I think Allure does it now as well. And it just speeds the process up, and really, there's no reason not to do that.
Yeah.
So hopefully, moving forward, I'd love to see it if every make did it, but definitely saves a lot of frustration.
I can tell you that, just speaking of other products, I can tell you that Upper Deck has started creeping it into some of the other things. Steve's personal favorite, AEW, in the flagship product. they have started labeling the back of them with the parallels of it to actually give you that information. So that's on flagship. So hopefully, cross our fingers, would love to see that in flagship hockey, would love to see that in some of the other products. Look, just put it on the back of all of them. If you got parallels on there, I would love for you to just put it on the back. It makes all our collective lives easier. I don't want to guess which parallel this is. Just make it easy for me, because sometimes we've got similar colors. So just tell me which one it is, and it makes my life a lot easier going forward.
Yep.
All right, so here we go. So this 2018 Panini Donruss Optic, the Shohei Ohtani variation, Carolina Blue. I think Carolina Blue is number 250, I want to say.
Yeah, it's numbered to 50.
Yeah. So very good one. Obviously, they use the rated rookie. These are unlicensed. As you can see, no logos on this. So, and it is Shohei Ohtani of the Los Angeles baseball team at the time. So nonetheless, it is a 2018 product. 2018 was a noted rookie class with Ohtani and also with Juan Soto. So very good one. But rated rookie is kind of interesting. It is a classic, a part of the IP with Optic. They are nice looking cards, though. If you check them out in hand, they are nice looking, but bear in mind, they are the unlicensed ones. That means, though, that you can get it for a more reasonable price compared to a similar kind of Topps card. And this one's in a PSA 10, so it means the front of it is pretty clean, which is nice. All right, we'll finish up with a couple of vintage. So we got a vintage baseball first. 52 Bowman, Bob Feller in a 2. For the most part, a nice clean copy, I would say, especially of a 52 Topps card.
Yeah, great color on it and nice clear focus. Definitely presents nice for a 2. And I sent about a dozen like vintage baseball cards in that just came back from PSA. And again, they're just, lower grade cards, but once they're put in that holder, they make them pop a little bit and they just present so much nicer. But yeah, there's, 7 or 8 Hall of Famers that, you can pick up a 50s baseball card on them for the most part, $75 to $150. So great way to to add some Hall of Famers to your collection.
Absolutely. And we got here a trio of vintage hockey here, 57, 58 Topps. We've got Norm Ullman, Johnny Busick, and Pierre Pilote.
Yep, and those are 3 of the key rookie cards from the 57 top set. And the Busick presents very well, especially with the centering. But I love the deep colors that they use on these cards. Busick's nice and deep red.
Yeah.
Now during the late run, so Topps still had the hockey license into the early 2000s. They did release, obviously in baseball, Topps Heritage has had a long run going forward in terms of starting with the 52 set all the way into the present as they've been going forward into the 70s. But in hockey, they only had 2, I believe, Topps Heritage sets. One was the original 54 Topps design, and the second one was this design right here. So 57 Topps. They actually got this one in as well. So if you want a kind of a retro version of that, that's the retro version of it with then modern players. I think it was Pavel Datsyuk at that time. That was one of the key cards for that one. But it's the same design. So borrowing off of this classic design, kind of Steve's point, I like any time one of these vintage sets is nice and colorful, and this set has that. You got some nice colors that kind of go with the whole theme with the players.
Yeah.
Good stuff. So that is kind of a couple of the cards that we wanted to feature there. So thank you, Steve, for that. And then, Blair, it is your moment to shine. We're going to showcase a couple of cards here that you've got. So Blair shared a couple of cards, so we'll go into these here. And then we'll spend a little time on Metal Universe right after that. All right, Blair, get ready. This is it.
I'm going to keep this short. It's not like
no. You can take a minute. Metal Universe is straightforward, but we'll go through it. I'll break it down a little bit, but have a moment.
So there is a little funny story. Obviously, I'm working on this set, and it's the 1912, so the 3rd year of the C tobacco card run. Anyway, I got a late start on this. Actually, I bought some from Steve's dad and to go with what I had. But yeah, working on this one, got a late start. It's the toughest of the 3, 1910, 1911, and 1912 set that kind of finish, and I'm not quite there. These were actually bought just a guy I know, he's actually from Newfoundland, posted that they had them up in Toronto, so the last Toronto Expo. So I was able to kind of work a back and forth deal, and we were going to ship them, and then it was around the Canada Post strike, and so I said, no, let's, and he said, yeah, good idea. So I was going to set them up to be picked up in person at the expo, and then I was away frolicking. So anyway, they made their way back, and I just got them in hand from the last Toronto Expo. So yeah, still working on this set. It's a 50 card set, and I'm probably still maybe need a dozen, and it's going to be a tough finish, I think. But well, we'll see. Keep plugging away. But and I'm not, obviously high grade. Steve would know, like near impossible, or you already have them, or you pay a fortune to get these in high grade. So I'm just trying to complete it, and I'll actually mix them up. I think I have some SGC and some PSA. Yeah, but looking forward to it. But these were nice to get in hand. I just love and these out of the three, this is the only one that's black and white. So they went with black and white on this set, as you can see. Yeah.
That's a nice Fred Taylor. Love the turtleneck he's wearing there. But that actually is a very solid too.
Yeah, like your the 52 Bowman baseball there. It's got nice centering and looks pretty clean. Obviously, forget what's going on in the back, but yeah. I'll take it.
Fred looks excited to be there.
Yeah,
that's always the key, guys. You always got to look at the photo, and you can get a lot of it. In this case, the photography kind of takes center stage because it's a very straightforward design. It's the information, the text at the bottom, and the picture of the player. That's it. So we've got the Fred Taylors we just talked about, and then we've also got the Jack Dura.
Yeah,
we'll go with that. Yeah. So you've got there from the Ottawa team, and then as well from the Vancouver team. So this predates a lot of this. Is all pre-NHL kind of Challenge Cup era, or might be before that. Like it's very early on. Early days of hockey, it's kind of a very different thing, but it's a snapshot in time. So it's a very good stuff there, Blair.
And that Dara still had so it's got a mark on the back. So I think that's what gave it. It's definitely not as an appealing card as that Taylor, and it's an older PSA holder too. But yeah, it's got a mark on the back or rating, I think. But yeah.
Listen, it's old school though as well when you got the part in the hair straight down the middle.
I know. I don't. Even though I have hair and it's light, but I don't think I could get a clean parting like that. I might try that. I
probably could, but I'd rather not. It's a look. See. It is a look if you want it. So good stuff.
I am known to use a hair product, so I might be able to get that.
I think you could do it.
I'll try it.
It's something to aim for, Blair. It's something to try.
And then I need a turtleneck to kind of. So I'll try to.
You've got lots of those. So you have a whole drawer dedicated to them.
I do. Yeah.
Well, with the weather bouncing up and down, like I think yesterday was super warm, and then today is kind of okay, and it's going to kind of bounce around a little bit. Like we're going to go from t-shirt weather possibly to turtleneck weather, and possibly back to t-shirt weather by the weekend. So it's going to be, Southern Ontario weather for me. And then bouncing up and down weather for everybody else. It's all over the place. Okay. So let's do here. We're going to do 24-25 Metal Universe. Obviously, whenever I'm talking about Metal Universe hockey, I'm talking PMGs. That's the first thing a lot of people are going to think about. So it makes a lot of sense as far as that is concerned. But let's take a closer look at this one. And everything I'm going to show you guys, I'm going to include in the description. You'll be able to take a closer look at. I do recommend, as always, taking a closer look at the checklist, because you're going to be able to see exactly what's in there. I'll give you kind of a quick heads up on this. Yeah. They did streamline the checklist a little bit, which is not necessarily a bad thing. It means you're going to kind of have less filler in terms of that, but it also means you miss some kind of interesting names. So I'll use an example. I'm a Dallas Stars fan, going back to Medano days and all that. Well, Jamie Benn, the longest reigning captain, is not on the checklist. So, and because of kind of the timing of everything, Logan Stankoven is in the checklist, but he's in the checklist as a Dallas Star because the trade and everything that happened this year has not kicked in by the time this went to print. So he's technically part of the Dallas Star checklist, but at the same time, he's no longer on the team. So we don't have the captain, but one of the guys that's on there is not part of Dallas. So that's what I say. If you've got a favorite player, maybe, and if it's not like a Connor McDavid or one of those guys that are pretty much for sure in the checklist, double check. But a lot of other players will be included in this, but the checklist is a little bit more streamlined. So let's get into it here. We're going to start off here with the base card design. I actually think it looks pretty good. I like the base card design. It's got a nice background on it. From what I understand, I believe Gene McLeod of Arena Designs, who obviously was involved in the original Metal Universe sets and the original PMGs, is now, by the time this set is coming out, is able to exert a little bit more influence, is able to add some more ideas into it. So you're going to get a couple more of those influences in there, because it's been kind of a mix. They brought back Metal Universe, but she wasn't necessarily all the way involved, then increasingly involved. And I think by this point, now you're getting some of their Arena Design hands back onto this a little bit more. And you have to make it look different, because otherwise it's, what's the point of rehashing the same thing? So I do like that they have done that.
It actually looks good, because the previous issues, there was a lot of chipping with them. This, I mean, from a picture, it looks like the borders might be a little better put together, I guess the term would be. And then they still have kind of the cosmic picture in the middle, but hopefully they'll just be a sturdier, solid card. But we'll see when people start ripping them what they look like. But I do like the looks of it.
Yep.
I do. Fair. One other kind of key design element that I like is that I appreciate that the border around it is kind of color coded to the team. So like you see from the Jason Robertson, we do have a little bit of that green going on. And from what I understand, for the other players, depending on your team, it is a little bit color coded, which is nice. It's a nice aesthetic to give that for the player. Kind of to Steve's point, though, my concern is going to be, so for the base, I'm not too worried about it.
Yeah.
But where it becomes always a challenge, and we're just being honest here, where it comes to challenge is the PMGs, the precious metal gems, because the style of the foil they use in there, that does get prone to chipping. It can be pretty bad sometimes. So we'll see how that goes. So here's what they've got. So this year, I will say, I appreciate that the rainbow of PMGs is actually relatively restrained, because we've seen some years where they've come up with a lot of different, because you got blue PMGs, you got some of these other ones they've thrown in there. So this year, they've got the red out of 100, the green out of 10, and the gold 1 of 1. That's not too bad. That's, the 1 of 1 obviously is going to be a major challenge, but the red and the green, generally, depending on your player, a lot of times is attainable. That's not too bad. You can have the base and a couple of PMGs. Okay, that seems like a reasonable enough rainbow to do. You do have printing plates included in packs, of course. There's a purple Spectrum out of 199 in blaster boxes. That's a blaster exclusive for your retail. But that's standard. That's been included the last several years. So if you want to chase a specific player, I'm basically offering you like a 4-card mini rainbow, or 5 if you really want to chase the gold. That's not too bad. As far as rainbows are concerned, not terrible. So I think they restrained themselves. And obviously with the design there, you can see with the PMG, you still got the little border thing going on with it, but then obviously the red dominates or the green dominates, depending on what the case may be. So I think I'd like to see these in hand and see what they look like in hand to get a better sense, but potentially it could look pretty good. So we'll see how that one turns out. Now you do have autograph versions as well. Got to have some autograph versions. So here's an example. I mentioned Logan Stankoven. So here we are. So Logan Stankoven, then of the Dallas Stars, now of the Carolina Hurricanes, still in the playoffs though, still in the playoffs. So we've got that. That's 1 in 80 hobby packs for veterans, 1 in 65 for rookies. There is the green out of 10 and the gold 1 of 1 parallels for these. So it could be pretty interesting. They are sticker autos. Just bear that in mind. Yep. Okay. So moving forward a little bit, we've got a lot of different stuff. So you do have the Metal Universe retros. So you do have that included in there. They're 1 in 240 hobby packs. So they are pretty tough. Now you can also get PMGs for the retros. So I made a distinction between the PMG standard and then the PMG retro. So we've got the retro design as well. And they're the 2013 design. So not the OG, but a little bit later on. So just remember that. I believe, I could be mistaken, I think the 2013 ones were the ones that are more cartoonish, if memory serves me. I'll double check that, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. Regardless, they're tougher to start off with. They're tougher pull. And then you've got your reds out of 100 as well. And then you got, this is where they brought back in the blue out of 50, the green out of 100, the green out of 10, and then the gold 1 of 1s. So what they did is they used the numbering similar to the original PMGs. It's a little complex, so I'll go through it. The red is 100 copies, but it's actually 90 copies. So card 11 to 100 out of 100, that's the reds. The blues are out of 50, they're separately numbered, and then cards 1 to 10 out of 100 are actually the green. Clear as mud? Got that?
Yeah.
That is actually the original numbering system. If you actually remember the basketball PMGs and all that, it would be numbered out of 100. The first 10 cards, to make it simpler, the first 10 cards are green. The cards 11 through 100 are all the red ones. So if you find a card numbered to 10 or less that's red, it's probably not real. It's not supposed to be. It's following the original numbering with this retro. Just remember that. Skybox Premium Prospects, 1 in 5 packs, so not too bad there. You got Star Rubies out of 50 there, Star Emeralds out of 10, and Star Diamonds. So you do have parallels to all of these. So you got that included in there. Autographs are 1 in 120 packs. So a lot of these inserts have autograph variants as well. So make sure you check out the checklist to see who's involved in there. You got Star Emeralds out of 25 and Blaster exclusive Star Blue, which are not numbered, but they're 1 in 200 pack versions. Z-Force, 1 in 8 packs. Returns with this design. So Z-Force looks kind of like this, but this one here is actually the Super Rave. So you've got your Super Raves out of 50s, your Raves out of 399, and a Universe Rave 1 of 1. So very colorful, this one. Kind of a more artistic thing going on with this one. Gen Z is an insert there, 1 in 12 packs. Blast Furnace, which I haven't seen a picture of yet, is 1 in 25 packs. So they are there. They've got a speckle version out of 199, a gold version out of 50, and also autograph variants. Now, this one here is the one that is kind of a little bit interesting. So this is one of the new inserts here. This is the die-cut Metalheads. It's 1 in 120 packs. They're goalie helmet shaped. They are metallic. So we've got a die-cut design, metallic. And apparently the big thing with this one, Steve, is that obviously whenever you do a goalie themed set, you don't have the ability. It's difficult to do because you don't have the rights to the art, whatever art they put on the helmets. You'd have to do a deal specifically with the artist involved in it in order to make it happen. They didn't do that. So what they did is they had their own artists create kind of designs specifically for it, and that's how they got around it. Let's not get sued, basically, is what happened there. Yeah. So these helmets don't correspond to anybody in the NHL. They're a helmet for each representing these teams, but they basically made it up. But they are metallic.
I wonder are they just using the team color schemes, I guess, like this one could be Toronto, obviously.
It wouldn't surprise me. I think it's going to be something that affects. So they had to kind of make their own art for it, but so just in case people didn't know, that's actually the challenge of doing like a goalie themed. I know Be a Player back in the day, they had their goalie themed entire set, and they were able to get some of those mask cards. It's actually very difficult because the artists do own the rights. The artists do retain the rights to their art that they put on these helmets. So you can do it, but you have to basically reach out to the artist and get them to agree to let you put it on the card. And that's, which is tough. And doing a deal with each of these artists individually can get kind of tough and expensive depending on what these artists want to do. Some of them may not want to do it at all. So in this case, they came up with their own version of it. So it is another die cut card there. You got Silver Shots, 1 in 10 packs. Alphabetical, which we'll show an example of that in a minute, 1 in 12 packs. Search Engines, 1 in 13 packs. I'm going to refrain from further comment. Search Engines, 1 in 13 packs. Should appear at least 1 per box. Counterpoise, 1 in 30 packs. Dawning, 1 in 30 packs. Points per game, 1 in 38 packs. All of them have speckle out of 199 and gold out of 50 parallels. So Silver Shots, here's an example of that, showing in this mock-up here. Here's the Alphabetical. The Alphabetical I kind of like. You've got, so this is an autograph version of this, but they also have non-autograph versions of this. So you got kind of the letter going there with the player kind of inside of the silhouette of the letter, which actually could look pretty cool. I want to see these in hand, but the potential is there. I think the design is interesting. I got to be honest, this is one of those inserts where sticking an auto kind of in the middle of it kind of jars the design for me. I actually think just as an insert, I think the regular version of the insert will probably look pretty good, but with the autograph there, it just looks kind of weird. I understand why they're doing it. We have an autograph variant, of course, but they do have non-autograph variants of this as well. But just bear in mind, you've got that, so you can check out the checklist to see who's in it. So this last part is where we get interesting here.
Yeah.
You've got some chase cards here. So the ones that are using example, microfibers. So I'll see if I can find it. I may not be able to right away. I believe Billy Cilio actually showed off. So Billy Cilio from Upper Deck actually showed off. The microfibers, I believe, based on the little bit I saw there, I believe they use a similar pattern to it, to basically the little squares that they put in the background of it is kind of a refractory design. It's basically a foil that shows off that one. I'll give you an example. The beam teams. So, you know, the 92 like basketball beam teams, that kind of little pattern in the background with the shine on it. And that's basically what you're looking at. Something to that effect. The mock-ups show it as kind of flat. If you see it in hand, it actually has a little bit more going on for it. So those are actually pretty interesting. Gold bullion looks pretty good from that. What I saw on the button weaving. Dark matter, I think, is going to be kind of cool with more of a matte design. I think that's kind of neat. And then this one, the liquid gold. This image is a little bit flat. It doesn't show it off properly. It's got some really good shine going to it. Actually, it's similar to some of the patterns you've seen before. And what happens is apparently it's a very pliable plastic. So it's kind of a little bit of foldable thing. These are 1 in 960 packs. Ooh. 1 in a multi-case hit. But if you do see it, you're going to see why it is if you see one of these in hand. These are going to look pretty good. For these other ones, Dark Matter is 1 in 138 packs, so very tough pull. Weaving is 1 in 100 packs, tough pull. On the Button, 1 in 100 packs. Gold Bullion, 1 in 100, 1 in 80 packs. And the Microfibers is 1 in 75 packs. All of these are tougher pulls.
Yeah.
But this liquid gold is going to be like really big in terms of that.
There was sorry. I was wondering if the liquid gold is similar to what was the insert? I had one. I forget what it was. Yeah, they're kind of like a clear, almost like a clear card, but obviously this one's liquid gold. But I'm wondering if it's that texture, not the cardboard, more the like a plexi or whatever. I forget what that was.
I can tell you from what I saw actually when Billy was demonstrating it. Like I said, the card itself is a very thin plastic. Now, as far as the front of it, the way it looks, I think I got to see it in hand, obviously, but I think it's going to be similar to. So I'll use this example, kind of the double helix.
Oh yeah.
I think it's going to have kind of a metallic kind of thing going for it, obviously in gold, but I think it's going to be more of a metallic thing. Again, we got to see it in hand. We'll reserve judgment, but I think they're going for that more metallic look to it, which, by the way, could look pretty cool. I actually think if it looks on the surface to be executed well, obviously these are going to be tough cards. So if somebody pulls one, obviously you can report back. Love to see a couple more images of them. But based on what I see there, it's going to be, you got to see it in hand to really get a sense of what it's supposed to look like. But on paper, it looks pretty good, and we'll see. And it's definitely going to be a tough pull. So if you pull one, I think you're going to be having yourself a pretty good day on that one. So the breakdown of the boxes goes as follows. We've got ourselves 6 cards per pack, 15 packs per box, 16 boxes in a case, all hobby, 150 card base set, as I just addressed there a moment ago. So what should you expect in a box? So in a box, you should expect autographs or precious metal gems, 1 per box. So you want your autograph per box, you're getting an autograph per box, or a PMG. So one or the other in that box. Alphabetical, Gen Z, search engines, or silver shots, 5 total in the box. Blast Furnace, Counterpoise, Dawning, or points per game, 2 of those per box. Z-Force, 2 per box. Premium Prospects, 3 of those per box. 1 parallel of some variety, and 15 rookies. So basically every pack should have something of some sort in there in order to kind of cover this for you. So as you open your packs, you should get something to that effect. And then they do have them in blaster boxes as well if you'd like to purchase the retail version. And there is some stuff in the retail as well that you can find. So here we've got the entire checklist of the different things. You've got it broken down, base, autographs, inserts, and the full checklist itself, including the retro. Now here, for example, important. I mentioned the retro checklist, 1 in 240 packs. There's only 20 cards in that checklist. So it's a very limited checklist. So if you pull one of the retros, it's going to be kind of a tougher checklist to pull from. Yep. So these are the players that you can find in there. So you can look for yourself and see if your favorite players are included. So that's an important thing in there. The rest of these are all covered with relatively simple checklists. Some of these I think we'll have to see in hand to get a bit more of a sense of it. Yep. But overall, I'm pretty impressed with the, on paper, I'm pretty impressed with some of it. I think some of the high-end inserts, I think, are going to look pretty good in hand once we get a better look at them. It'll be interesting to see. I'm looking forward to when you guys get some people to open them up. I'd love to get your impressions of them once we get a chance to see some of these inserts in hand, because I think it'll be more easier to appreciate them that way.
Yeah. And Steve, just to reiterate, I just to check with you, I think it is we're just getting the hobby boxes on Wednesday, I think. Hey?
Yeah, usually with metal, if we get blasters, we don't tend to get as many of them. Usually, 2 or 3 weeks down the road, we may receive a case or 2, but it's we don't receive a lot of them. But yeah, if we obviously when we get some, we will we'll let customers know.
Absolutely. So to that effect, if you're curious about, again, availability and pricing on that, you're certainly welcome to reach out directly to the store and ask. That'll be able to get the most information to it. I'll leave a link in the description, as I mentioned, to the site there that you saw, the Beckett one. And you can check out the checklist and see if any of your favorites are there. If you want to collect some of it, there's some stuff there to collect. I think some of these inserts, like I said, from my opinion, based on what I have seen, I think some of the inserts are worthy. I think they're solid, and I could see some people just collecting some of those insert sets, especially if they find like a certain design or something they like. I think there's some cool stuff in there. And if you like your autographs, they are giving you the autograph per box or a PMG. So autograph or PMG in a box. So you're getting one of these things, and each one of the packs most likely should have something. I'll be curious to see how some of the breaks look like. But again, I think there's some really nice cards they threw in there. So good stuff on them too. And you can see some of the influences. They definitely tried to make some of the nicer looking inserts there to give you a little bit of some nice looking cards as you open your packs.
Yeah. It's usually a strong product, and I think this rookie class has been pretty, people have been collecting it, so I think we'll do well with this one.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a good product just to open something different, I guess, if you want to say, add a little pizzazz to your collection, because some of the cards can be a little colorful and funky, and just kind of, like I said, add a little pizzazz to your collection. But it's a popular set, and the price point's not terrible, so it's kind of a good mid-range product that both sides of the spectrum can, whether you're a high-end collector or an entry-level collector, it's something worth grabbing. And obviously we'll be selling it in packs as well, so I'd recommend at least buying a pack and checking it out.
There you go. Sounds good. So we'll leave it at that. That'll be an episode. Hopefully, again, you're welcome to throw in any comments. We'll review them on the following episode, and we'll give you some reminders of some of the other things. Link in the description there, all the pertinent information on there. You can congratulate Blair on some of his latest acquisitions in the Collector's Corner on there. You can thank Steve and bless him for additional, his voice was at least somewhat back today. So that was pretty good. We got that in there. And pray for us for the Fisherman's Friend sponsorship we need so badly.
Awesome.
Fantastic. So for Bonus Blair and Steve, Collector of the Scallops, Collector of the People, episode 80 in the books. Thank you very much. We will catch you in the next one.